Welcome, luxury enthusiasts, to the Luxury Travelers Podcast, hosted by Rodney George. The ultimate passport to opulent destinations, extravagant experiences, and unparalleled indulgence. Whether one is a seasoned jet setter or daydreaming of the next lavish getaway, the Luxury Travelers Podcast has it all covered. So buckle up and prepare for a journey into the lap of luxury. Now, your host.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is when you're finally getting around to listen to this episode. And you're going to be so glad that you tuned in today, because we have a guest today that's going to blow you away with what her company is doing in the area of travel. Our special guest today is Edyta Teper, and she is the Vice President and Global Sales of Space Perspectives. Are you interested yet? Well, you will be as soon as you meet this lovely lady. Welcome to the show, Edyta.
Thank you so much for having me today, Rodney. It is a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the privilege of your time.
Well, we piqued everyone's interest, I'm sure, with the name of your company, but tell us a little bit about what is Space Perspectives and what in the world is going on there right now.
So Space Perspective is changing the face of space travel, literally. We are the world's first carbon neutral spaceflight experience company, hoping to take as many people to the edge of space as possible.
You do this by pretty unconventional means. I mean, we're not going to blast off in a rocket. We have to have, 14 G's of force against us. How in the world are we going to do this?
Well, it's a great question, Rodney. So Spaceship Neptune is a pressurized capsule propelled by a space balloon. So we will take our explorers to the edge of space in this pressurized capsule, which is propelled by a space balloon. Imagine it's a space lounge with 8 seats. So we will have 8 explorers and a captain, the largest windows ever flown to the edge of space. We will have Wi-Fi. We will have drinks and a bathroom, which we call, yes, with a view. And I'll leave it at that. Yeah, our explorers are going to have this beautiful journey. It's a 6-hour journey that will start in the morning. And imagine it is very slow. It's like 12 miles an hour. So literally like riding a bicycle. That's how gentle it is. There is no training required. There is no 0G. There are no rockets or heavy forces. If you can board an airplane, you can board Spaceship Neptune. So as I was saying, the experience is 2 hours to the edge of space and then 2 hours at the apogee, which is 100,000 feet. And then we'll gently begin a descent, and that will take about 2 hours as well. So all in all, about 6-hour journey.
This experience is going to begin somewhere in Florida, is that right?
Yeah, Gulf Coast of Florida. That's right, Rodney. Yes.
Okay. And so we're going to do this 6-hour mission, and it's really kind of a quintessential astronaut experience, but for ordinary people like me.
That is correct. So we know from experience that when astronauts go to space and they see our planet from that vantage point, they experience this cognitive shift. They experience this transformative experience that changes them profoundly forever. Seeing our planet, from that vantage point, small, it is so beautiful, it is so compelling, and it is the quintessential astronaut experience, which is really Space Perspectives' mission to introduce as many people as possible in the world to this experience, hoping that when they do have this cognitive shift, it will compel them to come back to Earth and maybe implement some changes to take care of our planet.
What is it that separates you from, I don't know, do you even have any competitors out there that are doing this balloon technology to the edge of space?
So we have an elite team that has been instrumental in the development of pretty much all of the US human spaceflight experiences for the last 40 years. And also sustainability is another differentiator for us. Our space balloons are upcycled and after each flight, and then obviously Spaceship Neptune can be reused. We work with partners like Cool Effect and Everteen on carbon offsets as well. And we will support research on board of Spaceship Neptune and also on MS Voyager.
Now, are you going to have more than one of these spaceships?
Yes, Rodney, that is the plan in the next 5 years. I mean, I come from the cruise line industry, so to be sitting here and saying we will have a fleet of spaceships eventually and a fleet of marine-based spaceboats, which is the ship, is a little mind-boggling. But yes, that is the idea, to have a fleet of both, which will obviously aid us in our global expansion.
I know in your bio, it talks about that you have over 30 years of experience in travel. First of all, you must have started when you were in kindergarten.
Oh, you're very kind.
But did you ever envision yourself being in the space part of the travel industry?
Rodney, 5 years ago, if someone said to me, you will be in space travel, I would say that they were a little crazy. I knew about some of, Virgin Galactic, having worked with the companies that I have worked for. I knew that space travel was in our future, but it wasn't until this opportunity came to me and I started doing my research that I realized that space travel is not when, it is here, it is now. So no, 5 years ago, I would have never thought that I would be in this space, but I will tell you, it's an honor and a privilege to be in this space, no pun intended.
Well, is there a market for this? I mean, at least if there is a market for this, it seems like it's just emerging. Am I right?
It's really interesting, Rodney. The space travel market is rapidly emerging as the fastest growing segment in experiential travel. So things shifted after COVID, and statistics show us that upscale consumers are enthusiastic about, bespoke experiences, about transformative luxury experiences. And believe it or not, the space travel market is going to be anywhere from 28 billion to 30 billion market by 2030. So it's the fastest growing market in this space. The fact that consumers are evolving, their interests are evolving, right? So travel trends are changing, and that also creates the market as well.
This is an answer to a question I get all the time. I have clients that have been to all 7 continents. They've done all 7 oceans. They go, what else you got? Well, have you thought about space? I mean, what are the common concerns that the typical client would have about space travels? I mean, I know safety would come to mind right off the bat.
Yeah, safety is first. What's really interesting in our conversations with, whether it's with our explorers or whether with our travel partners, is that the belief is that the only way to access space is a rocket. So when we start having a conversation about space perspective and going to the edge of space in a pressurized capsule propelled by a space balloon, in a very gentle and safe way, the first thing that clients or advisors tell us is, how did I not know that this was an option? So when they find out that this is an option for them, they are so excited because, again, when they look at a rocket experience, that it may not be for them, right? It's not for everybody. So they look at a space perspective flight and say, not only can I do this in my lifetime at a lower price point, but I can do this with my friends and family. I can take my whole family, in a capsule and share this transformative, beautiful experience.
On that subject, how many people can you accommodate on a single trip?
8. So
8 people.
Spaceship Neptune will take 8 explorers and the captain, yes.
What's the value proposition? What's the time frame? If I said, okay, I'm ready to go today, I know it's not going to happen tomorrow. But so what is the value proposition and the timing of somebody if they wanted to say, take their 7 favorite people along for a jaunt up to the edge of space?
Well, we went on sale. I joined the company August 2021, and we went on sale 2 months prior to that. Year to date, we have reserved over 1,800 seats, more than any other space company. We are currently sold out for the first 100 flights. We have a wait list for those. We are selling right now, Rodney, to 2029. So we have different deposit structure. For the clients that, the pioneers, they've already reserved their seats a long, long time ago. But having said that, you never know, there may be opportunities. So I would encourage everyone to reach out to us if that's their dream, and we'll definitely have them on our wait list. But the cost of the flight currently is $125,000 per person and $1 million for a full capsule. As I said, we have very different deposit structures. If someone wants to be part of our community, they want to be engaged, they are really just interested, but maybe they're just not ready to fly in the next, 2 or 3 years, they can reserve a seat with as low as $1,000. It's a $1,000 non-refundable deposit. Mm-hmm. Now, we're looking to launch at the end of 2025, hopefully, but all those time frames are anticipated. Those flights are already sold out. So the next available at a deposit of 25 or 10,000 would probably put explorers into end of 26, beginning of 27, and then 28, and then the $1,000 deposits to 29.
So you're going to have to build some capacity into this, because if it's selling that well already, the demand is clearly there.
Absolutely. I mean, that is our strategy, and I hope that happens sooner rather than later. Hope we definitely have a fleet of Spaceship Neptunes very soon.
Who are our typical explorers that we're looking for out there? Yeah,
look, it's really interesting. I like to look at demographics as well as psychographics. To me, that's always really important. If you look at solid demographics, it's probably about 70% of our explorers are male, 30% female, very heavy skewed in the finance industry, followed by, entertainment industry and so forth. So that's, and the average age between about 48 to 60. Having said that, we also have explorers that never imagined that they would have this opportunity in their lifetime, right? So these explorers are between, 70 and, 85, some of them. And they wanted to sign up because they said, look, I never, ever thought in my lifetime I would have this opportunity. So there is a small percentage of those explorers. When you look at the psychographics, it's very interesting. Obviously, we had our pioneers at the very beginning. Then we had explorers who are into adventure. So maybe they love expedition cruises, really adventurous people. And then, you have family travel, because this is really a great opportunity for multi-generational, travel as well. And, so it really runs a gamut. We have all different people from all across the world. Our biggest market is North America today, followed by APAC, and then Europe.
So recently you've had a couple of successful test flights, I believe, right?
Yes. So we had one flight, a second demonstration flight, which was the first full-scale flight demonstration of Spaceship Neptune Excelsior. So it's a test capsule. And the flight launched from MS Voyager, so from the ship, like I said, of the Gulf Coast of Florida. And It was propelled by the space balloon. It reached 100,000 feet, which is before making a controlled descent and splashdown. So it successfully completed its full flight profile, which is obviously fantastic. We're able to collect data. We will gather the data. And what it did is it validated the key technological advancements. So now we are gearing up for a series of other test flights before we will be ready to have a commercial test flight.
And you're regulated by the FAA, I would guess, right?
Yes. So we're regulated by the FAA. We follow guidelines that were set by NASA and also the U.S. Coast Guard.
I first met you 18 months ago, and you guys were really just starting to ramp up. And now you've got stuff. Did you say you had things booked through 2029?
Yes.
Wow. So if I wanted to book today, I'm going to be stapled to the bottom of the 2029 list.
No, it depends, right? So 2029 is the $1,000 deposit that really sort of puts you on a wait list, but you're part of our community, explorer community, which, Rodney, what I forgot to tell you is when I was talking about our explorers and about the demographics and psychographics, the one thing that our explorers have in common is this great desire to be part of our community. They're driven by the desire to be part of this community. They love coming to mission control and being, part of this, part of our experience.
Probably, unless I'm mistaken, one of the most interesting things that's happened in the last 18 months happened with you guys just in the last couple of weeks with someone that's pretty famous around the world that has taken an interest in your company. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that is correct. Sir Richard Branson, Space Perspective, did announce, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, that Sir Richard Branson will be a co-pilot on our first crewed flight with founders, Jane Poynter and Tabitha McCallum. And obviously, it's phenomenal. Richard brings his unmatched ballooning experience, his desire for adventure. So we're really, really excited about this.
And I believe he also invested in the company, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he did. He did invest, which is also, it's a pretty significant investment, which we are thrilled about, and we're thrilled to having on this journey with us.
And that first test flight's going to be sometime mid-2025?
No, right now the anticipated flight time will be end of 2025. But
the end of 2025.
To be advised.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So for those of you who want bragging rights, and we do a lot of bragging rights stuff within our luxury travel business here in Naples, but if you want to be the first, quote, kid on your block that's got a ticket to ride to space, you probably should give us a call right away and get on that waiting list, get in line, because the line's getting longer by the minute, it sounds like to me.
That is correct. Don't wait.
So the similarities to the cruise industry are fairly common, but you've got to step back 50 years or so, right?
Correct. Again, that's right. Like, think about 50 years ago, originally the transatlantic ocean liners really served as a mean of transport, right?
Right.
And really most often for the wealthy. So today you have all these luxurious ships, you have, luxurious ships and mass market ships. And this was once a niche experience, and cruising now, has become a global phenomenon. So that was 50 years ago. Look at where we are now. So over, the past decade, it has grown from being this exclusive experience to being a mass market experience, which we think that is the path that space travel is on.
I'm just spellbound because I was flashing back when you were talking just now when I was like 10, 12 years old, getting up really early in the morning, turning on the black and white TV to watch a space rocket launch from Cape at that time it was called Cape Canaveral, and thinking that someday I wanted to do that. And now I have a very good chance of being able to get at least to the edge of space.
Someday is now.
Someday is now. That's right.
Yes, that's right.
Well, Edyta, I really appreciate you being on the show. You're in one of the most exciting places in the world, because our clients, and I'm sure it's true all across the country, are looking for that thing that they haven't done. That the City Slickers, the movie Jack Palance Ghost, that one thing. And maybe this is that one thing that you got to add to your bucket list and put it high at the top so that you get this done. Because as I always tell you in closing, you need to enjoy yourself, because it's later than you think. Thanks again for being on the show. Really appreciate it. I'm so excited to find out so much more about Space Perspectives, and you'll be hearing from us soon.
Thank you so much for your time, Rodney.
Bye for now.
Thanks for joining us on the Luxury Travelers Podcast. For more information, head on over to luxurytravelerspodcast.com to connect with our team or leave us a message. Until next time, safe travels and savor the extraordinary.